All right, another NerdCage live gaming stream. This should be a lot of fun. We got Shaq Oatmeal in the house here, so this should be a fun time. Pretty Guardian, give me that countdown.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Get over here! Hi, I'm martial art master Daniel Pacino. You know me as the original Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, and Smoke. You are tuning in to NerdCage Live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Don't miss an episode or you'll get caged. So let's finish him.
NerdCage Live and gaming are a perfect match!
Shoot the J, Joe. Okay. Shoot it!
All right!
Over on NerdCage Live on Twitch, Jay and Joe go live.
Call me Bazooka Joe.
It's all about you.
Kaboom!
Playing both old school and new school games every Tuesday night. Ooh, what a sight!
Jay, stop looking at her face and run.
But she's so beautiful!
So be sure to follow NerdCage Live on Twitch.
Run for your life, Joe. Run for your life, Joe.
Running!
Run faster! Oh no, Joe! The galaxy's doomed because of you!
To scratch your gaming itch.
Oh, nice kick, Joe.
Thank you.
Yo, that's f***ing diabolical. Wait. Yo!
That's twitch.tv/NerdCageLive.
This is Anthony Marquez, better known as Kung Lao for Mortal Kombat. Make sure to like and subscribe to NerdCage Live. Be there. Us.
Thank you, NerdCage Nation, for getting us to 700 subscribers. But Joe, there's still work to do if we're going to give away a free Xbox Series X.
That's right. Get us to 1,500 subs right here on YouTube, and we will give this Xbox Series X away to one lucky winner once we hit our goal.
Come on! Xbox Series X is where it's at. We can play games like Halo and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
And for you sports junkies, you can play the latest Madden and NBA 2K and play almost any game you want under the Fantasticals Xbox Game Pass.
We want you to be able to play all the best games with a brand new Xbox Series X that you can win right here on NerdCage Live.
Once we get to 1,500 subs, we will release a video on how you can enter, and we will give this away on a live stream.
No purchase necessary, US and Canada only. Please subscribe to NerdCage Live.
Hi, I'm Leah Montalongo, the OG Sindel. Please like, subscribe to NerdCage Live.
Greetings, citizens. You're now trapped in the nerd cage. We hope you have a smashing good time.
You're now about to witness the strength of geek knowledge. Hello, welcome. That's right. You are trapped in NerdCage Live. This channel is a celebration of all things pop culture, including video games that have aged well, in our opinion. Please hit that like button and subscribe. I'm your co-host, JCG, Certified Geek, 7 days a week, coming to you live from yours truly, the land of the Dome, Syracuse, New York. And Derek is off today. He's at Evil Dead Rise. Joe is stuck at work. However, let me reintroduce my panel and our guests. Starting with our gorgeous gaming goddess from Portland, Oregon. Pretty Guardian, how are you tonight?
You know, it's been a long week, but I'm glad to be here to talk about some games. I also like that I've slowly, over the course of the show, gone from being gaming queen to now gaming goddess.
Absolutely.
So thank you. I've leveled up a few times. It's been good.
Awesome. And of course, you know him from the channel On Paper Reviews. From New Jersey, it's Josh Burris. What's shaking, bud?
What's going on, man? If I sound a little raspy, getting over some stuff, but that shows my dedication, man. It shows I'm here to get some geek knowledge out, even through sickness. You know what I mean? You got to push through that. Like, insert video game here. Where do you kill diseases? I don't know, but that's what I'm doing.
It's all good. You got that sexy Demi Moore voice going on right now. We appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, back by popular demand from the Round 1 podcast, couldn't resist. We have Shaquille Oatmeal. How's it going, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back.
Shout
out to everybody in the chat.
Queen's Heart, I see.
Oh, yes. Shout out to the Mets.
Absolutely. So here's how it's going to go down tonight, everybody. We all have our lists of games that have aged well. We're going PS2, Xbox, GameCube era, and before. Because that's what makes the most sense. Because anything after that, you know, I really don't think is aged enough in that criteria. Derek didn't provide a list, but Joe provided his list. So I'm going to share Joe's list. And then we're going to go on to Pretty Guardian, then Josh and Shaq, and then Miles. We're gonna do something different, guys. We're gonna do something different tonight. We're gonna name 2 games at a time and then just dish it out. So before we go any further, just want to get out a shout out to the chat here. I see Doomzilla. I see Joe.
Hey,
supposed to be working right now.
Joe.
Shout out to the chat.
I see T and L Smith.
Welcome,
thank
everybody.
you for being here. Shay Smithers, thank you everybody for being here tonight. It means the world to us. Again, share, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. And of course, if you haven't already, get yourself a NerdCage Live t-shirt, even though 3 of the designs got banned the other day. Really upset about that. They gave you a hard warning. But yeah, real quick, check out all these awesome designs. You got Mortal Kombat Arcade, the regular Straight Geek Knowledge on the back. These are the top selling shirt right here. For you Kaiju fanatics, in fact, there was a Kaiju movie announced yesterday. The most recognizable website on the planet with a NerdCage twist on it. For those who don't have the power and wisdom and courage to talk to women, this shirt will give you the power of the triangles to do so. And it's too dangerous to go outside alone, so be sure you have this shirt as well. And another Mortal Kombat shirt, MK3 style. For fans of the MCU, we got the Marvel style. Mortal Kombat 2 Fatality, Mortal Kombat 1 Fatality. And there's other designs on the website, I just haven't ordered them yet. And of course, get us to 1,500 subscribers and you can win yourself an Xbox Series X. We're at 780 subs, so thank you very much. We're hopefully going to hit 800 by May. Again, t-shirts go from small to 5XL. Any size, any color, so whether if you're skinny, booty call, or fat, fuck it, don't matter, big or small, we love them all. Get yourself a shirt. That's how you can directly support us. Very much appreciate. All right, so before we get started here, we'll go around in a circle. If anybody got, we have some stuff to promote, some announcements to make. So, Pretty Guard, I'll let you have the floor first.
Thank you so much. So I do have a small announcement to share with you all. These next 2 streams, this one and the following one, will be my last streams as a cast member with the NerdCage here. I am just freeing up some time in my life to move on to new projects, but I love the NerdCage family so much. So I will still be a part of all of our groups and discussions, and I will definitely be collaborating on videos and other projects with the NerdCage team here in the future. So I just wanted to share that with you all. You can still follow me over on youtube.com/prettyguardian, I have a really great podcast out with Derek, aka the Bonus Commentary channel over there, about the animated series The Legend of Vox Machina. So you should definitely check us out.
Yes, and I also just want to say to Pretty Guardian, thank you for all you've done for us. It was nice having the lady flavor here at NerdCage Live, and we will miss you. But of course, we'll always, you'll always be the queen of the cage, no matter what. So, when the Boys season 4 drops, gotta have you in for that. Watch parties and all that good stuff. So yeah. Like I said, obviously, just want to address. There's no animosity here. I understand. Her channel's constantly growing and this and that. So, like I said, everything that you contributed to, we very, very, very much appreciate. And I'm so glad that at least you took time off your busy schedule to be here for these last 2 streams, because we can't do a gaming stream without the Pretty Guardian here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yes. Josh, I know you're always reacting to stuff. Anything you want to promote real quick? I'm
gonna keep it short and sweet so we can get to the show. All right. On paper, I do YouTube reactions of my favorite YouTube channels. I tried it. I think that it's funny. Go check it out. Tell me if you feel the same way. And I'm here on NerdCage with these fine people. You can catch me here pretty much every Thursday, with some caveats, That's it.
Absolutely.
Peace.
And of course, Shaq, I know you've been on a lot of Twitch streams lately, so whatever you want, Pro Man, floor is yours, bud.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet as well. I'm on Twitch 5 days a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays are throwback days. Every other day is just a more modern game. And you can check me out on YouTube, Round 1 Podcast, for sports reaction videos and other various anime recommendations and things like that. And check out the Round 1 Podcast for sports related content, video game related content, anime stuff, all pop culture things. I'd love to have you guys over there.
Yes, absolutely. And by the way, the links are in the description for the Round One Podcast on all podcast platforms, and his YouTube and his Twitch and all that good stuff. Got some stuff to promote real quick. I'll go fast as I can. If you haven't already, please check out our podcast and live stream with Chris from Joe Blow last week. That was an absolute blast. Shout out to Chris. By the way, Chris, that lucky bastard's going to CinemaCon next week, and he's going to be in Vegas, and he's going to see The Flash. Lucky bastard. And speaking of Joe Blow, please check out my Mario 93 versus Street Fighter 4 face-off. Tomorrow at 11 p.m., late stream, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, me and Joe, we'll be back playing Resident Evil 4. And then Sunday, because Joe's working Tuesday, we'll be back playing Metroid Prime Remastered. Not sure when I'm going to be back playing Hades. I've been busy with other projects as well. And then next Thursday will be the Games Have Aged Bad live stream. So stay tuned for that stuff. That being said, we're going to kick this off, and I'm going to start with Joe's list here. Again, we're going to go 2 games at a time. We're going to go clockwise here. So, starting with, and again, we're going in no particular order, but I'm going to go in order with my list and Joe's list. So, Joe's first 2 games that have aged well, his number 10 and his number 9. To no surprise here, if you know anything about Joe. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater are Joe's first 2 picks of video games that have aged well. So, ladies and gentlemen, do we agree? Have those games aged well?
I agree. Those are good choices.
Okay, so literally, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is running right back there. I'm in training mode, doing the training mode sheet, so when I close out, I can get my stages. Like, I still play it. It's one of the best. And one of the things in my criteria is about its predecessors and how they've aged as well. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is the best out of that whole series.
I agree.
3 and Infinite were, 3 was okay. Infinite was a flat line to me, so, yeah.
I would take 3 over Infinite, too. Shaq, what about you, man?
Not only did the game itself age well, but the music, let me take you for a ride, man. Right when you open that game, that's what you hear, that's what you think of. And all of the, I don't mean to spoil anybody's list, but I think all of the Metal Gear Solid games age well. Even the ones from Nintendo, I think, age well. I think they're still, graphically, not really, but gameplay-wise, I think, they're still really good games.
I mean, I haven't played Snake Eater yet, which we will get to because we just literally finished Metal Gear Solid 2 on Twitch. We will do 3 eventually, probably next year. I know that sounds like a long time, but we have so many games we got to get to. But yeah, I thought the second one, I thought it aged pretty good. I mean, my only thing is I think the first one's got a better story, but everyone keeps telling, a lot of people keep saying, wait till you play 3, wait till you play 3. So I look forward to that. I mean, that's all I pretty much got here. Pretty Guardian, name 2 games for us.
Yeah, so I'll start with number 10 on my list, and that is Tetris. I think that this game is just classically good. Back in the day, they actually had to focus on gameplay that was tight, and that's what Tetris brings. I don't think it'll ever matter the era. It's always going to be a good game. And then the next one on my list is World of Warcraft. Now, Blizzard as a company, they've aged like fucking sour milk. They're shitty. But if we're able to kind of pull the game into a vacuum and just kind of look at it for a minute, I feel like the game itself holds up really well. Particularly the graphics, because they went with that more cartoony style. Yeah. I was playing in the Night Elf city of Darnassus a while back, and I just had to kind of like pause and look around the city. And I was like, this game is fucking beautiful. Especially for its time, but just in general, it's very pretty.
Yeah. I would just add to what you just said, Pretty Guardian. Everybody needs to watch that Tetris movie on Apple if you have Apple TV. Definitely worth the time, in my opinion. And when I think of World of Warcraft, I can't help it. There's 2 things I think of. Yeah. One, our Lord and Savior and our favorite Superman, Henry Cavill, and 2, South Park.
Of course. Right. I'd say 50-50. I'd say Tetris falls under one of my criteria. It's the 3 R's. Relevancy, remakes, remasters. Tetris 99. I was playing it every day at one point. What a great way to take an old concept and make it new. It's still, people love the idea of Tetris. World of Warcraft, though, I feel like is kind of a little bit of the opposite where... Yeah, I'm sure there's a niche market playing it, but at the time, that South Park episode and all that stuff, like, that was, like, the general population. Like, you couldn't go... I remember going to the Burning Crusade, midnight thing at GameStop, which they don't even do that shit anymore. And there was just the longest line possible. Now, you wouldn't even get that, but still,
All right, Shaq.
Yeah, I think Tetris, I still have my old original Game Boy and the original copy of Tetris that I had as a kid. That's definitely one of my favorite games that I remember from my childhood. And like Tetris went on to inspire so many other games like Dr. Mario.
Yes.
There's handfuls of other games that are just kind of like rip-offs of...
What was that one on Sega? Was it Columns or Columbus?
Yeah, Columns.
Columns, and then there's the Dr. Robotnik Bean Machine or something.
Yeah, there's so many games that kind of just were inspired by Tetris that came after. Like, Tetris is the pioneer, one of the, I think, foundations of mobile games as well. It's what made the mobile games we see now and that whole genre of itself kind of possible. And World of Warcraft is also like... in its own realm too, it kind of sparked the same push in that genre.
That changed online gaming forever.
That's true.
Oh, 100%, yeah, without a doubt.
Yes. All right. Josh, go ahead. Name 2 games.
All right. Let's see. I'll go to the bottom of my list and have you guys disagree with me. But there are going to be 2 sports games. Okay. I'm going to go with NBA Jam TE.
Yes.
Which I got for my 8th birthday. I still love it. And WCW versus NWO / WrestleMania 2000 because they're kind of the same.
The ones on Nintendo 64, right?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Yeah.
64. Yeah. 2 classic games that, even though I like WWE 2K, I still will always go back. And I feel like wrestling fans will always go back. Right. People that know wrestling will always go back and play those old ones just because of the roster and everything that you get, like Goldberg and all that stuff. And NBA Jam TE, I love my NBA 2K. I love it. I love playing 2K a lot, but NBA Jam TE.
NBA Jam's golden material. It will
so
never
specific. That 2-on-2 format. I feel like I don't know if it's had a remaster, but I'm still playing the old.
Yeah, no, I cannot go wrong with NBA Jam and NFL Blitz. Like, hell, even NHL Hits. Like, all of those midway arcade style sports games were amazing. And I feel
Yes.
like, and everyone can disagree with me, I feel like even if you're not a sports fan, I feel like NBA Jam and NFL Blitz are still playable even for the non-sports savvy people because it's just so over the top and action oriented and and on fire mode. Like, my God, that shit is bananas.
All of it. Like, 3 out of 4 we got.
Yeah. All right, Pretty Guardian, Shaq, got thoughts on those two?
No.
I love the I was playing actually recently NBA Jam on stream. Like I love all those old throwback sports games from when I was a kid. I still have all of them on cartridge as well. So like that's right up my alley too. I 100% agree.
There's one more thing I just forgot about.
Yeah.
The little arcade machines that you buy at Walmart.
Arcade
Jam
one-ups,
too.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those are, yeah.
Yeah.
They have them for
Awesome.
NBA Jam too. Yeah.
And I used to love making. Also, the only thing I miss about those old wrestling games is making your own character, making your own entrance. Actually, well, it's how 64.
You can do it more now, but it's so complicated to do. That's why it's it's gone too far. Where I feel like keeping it simple with the wrestling games,
Yeah.
The wrestling games peaked for me.
Yeah.
At on PlayStation. The like
SmackDown.
Yes, the SmackDown games
Yeah.
peaked for me there.
That's when I left because I was like, I don't like the counter system. That's the other thing. I like the counter system better. But I said enough of that.
Okay. All right, Shaq, name 2 games.
I'm gonna go with just because I feel like Pretty Guardian already got one, but I don't feel like we're gonna have many PC games on this list. So I'll throw 2 PC games out there. I'm gonna say Diablo 2 and Age of Empires 2. I think aged masterfully, especially with Diablo 4 coming out. And I don't have mine in like an order. I just have a huge like list on my notepad of like 50 games that I'm calling.
50? Oh my god.
I just started rattling off and like writing things down. Like, okay, this was a really good game. And I think aged well. This was good, and I just kind of like went through. And I was playing Diablo 4, the beta, and I was like, man, this is so good. This is like the best Diablo I've played since Diablo 2. And then making this list, I was like, Diablo 2 is one of the best games I ever played. And I think you could even still go back now and play it. And then they recently did a remaster of it as well, which was still really good. And Age of Empires is, one of the best RTSs I think ever created, especially Age of Empires 2. That also released on Game Pass recently on Xbox. And you wouldn't think that it would work with a controller, but it does. It does actually work surprisingly well with a controller.
Excellent. Pretty Guardian, I know you got thoughts. You're the PC gaming goddess here.
Oh, yeah. Well, so Diablo 2 actually made my list as well.
Okay.
And so my first thought when I was looking at the game is like, in some ways, it doesn't hold up very well. Like the resolution changes that have happened since Diablo 2 to modern times. Like the game does actually look not great. But the gameplay is excellent. The lore and world building is excellent. It really is an amazing game. And so it earned a spot on my list too. I think the game overall did age pretty well. And there is the remaster. So there's
100%.
always a nice updated version to jump into.
Okay. Josh, any thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, Diablo, always a classic. Gotta go Diablo. 3 I played a lot more than 2. Age of Empires, is that like Civilization kind of?
Yes.
Similar? Okay, because I play that. I play Civilization. So any game like that, I'm down for.
It's like Civilization, just a little more like combat heavy, a little more like warring.
Less about like
kind of like Warcraft
religious victory.
Civilization.
Yeah, less about like religion and building politics and all that stuff. Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
race to space and stuff. It's kind of like, let me beat you to death with a catapult and like an army of samurais.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. I don't really have too much thoughts on the. I mean, I agree. Like Diablo 2 still holds up, and I think it's still probably the best one. Even though 3 was the one that got me into it, 2 is still probably the best one so far. I never played Age of Empires, so I don't really got too much thoughts on that one, but I know what it is, and like it's a lot of those PC games, like have done well and whatnot, and still hold up, and people still play them. All right. So I'll name 2 games for you. Again, I am going just for the record, I am going in order on my list here. So my 2 games: Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past on Super NES, and God of War 1 on PlayStation 2. I feel like those games have aged wonderfully. And again, I'm new to the God of War series, so I'm playing in order. We just got done a few months ago playing the first one on Twitch, and I was blown the fuck away. I was like, wow, where were you? Where have you been all my life? And when I was playing it, it didn't feel like an old game. It felt like a current. The way it felt, I'm saying, not the way it looked. The way it felt like a current gen game. And my God, I play Zelda Link to the Past every fucking year. It's an annual playthrough for me every fucking year. So, Pretty Guardian, thoughts?
Why do you gotta jump to me?
I don't know, because I like to go to you first.
You know what? Fine. You want my thoughts? I will give you my thoughts.
Yes.
I specifically thought about A Link to the Past when I was making up my list because a classic Super Nintendo game. It's the only Zelda game I've ever played, and it did not make my list. And the reasons it didn't make my list is because I don't think it holds up. I think the graphics are a little bit basic on that one. I think that a lot of the puzzles are really simple. It's a very short game when you compare it especially to modern games.
Well, it's other Zelda games.
The controls are a little bit janky. They were all right for the time, but we've literally seen so many Zelda games come out with better controls than this. I don't think it aged well. I think it was just a good game for its time.
That's fair. It's still my favorite Zelda, and I still like the way it feels. I still think the narrative's really great. That's just how I feel.
The narrative?
Yeah. It's still a really, really solid story, and a lot of Zelda games since then have cut, copy, and pasted what Link to the Past set the groundwork for. With the Light World, Dark World, the Master
That's not a
Sword
story. That's a premise. That's like 2 zones that you can explore.
Yeah, but it still plays a role. Like it still plays a role in the story, and what happens with Ganon, Ganondorf, the wizard, and so on and so forth and whatnot. But what about God of War though? Do you feel like that one's aged well, or no?
No, I'll give you credit on that one. That one aged well.
Fair enough. Gentlemen, Link to the Past and God of War. Thoughts?
You want to go first, Josh?
Oh, sure. Because one, you guys know, Jay, man, I'm only out of respect for you. Like, I'm getting into these Nintendo games and seeing how much fun you're having. Like, let me try that. I'm not a Zelda guy, but I did play Breath of the Wild for a couple hours. It's fun. I don't know shit about Link to the Past. God of War, I love my beat 'em ups, and I love to kill big giant bosses. To me, I'd rather play God of War 1 than God of War 2018. Like,
really?
Yes. No, absolutely.
I haven't played that one yet, so I'm going in order.
Because I did start playing that, and it's like words, which is okay. I respect that these new games have stories, and it's like watching a long movie. But I want to play a game, and God of War lets me do that. Link to the Past, though, I respect. I'm sure it has aged fine. I'm sure everybody loves it. You still got that Triforce NerdCage shirt, so.
Oh yeah. Yeah, shout out to that shirt.
And Shaq knows more than me about it, I'm sure too. So go ahead.
I've only played a couple Zelda games in my life, and I'm in the same boat as Josh. I'm not really like a big Zelda guy.
Oh my
and
God.
My favorite Zelda games are probably like a really hot take. My 2 favorite Zelda games are Link's Awakening and Twilight Princess.
Those are
I feel like
Twilight
everyone's like, you're an idiot. Like, why would you
okay,
pick
so
those?
Shaq, to counter you real quick, A Link to the Past and Link's Awakening are very, very, very similar because originally Link's Awakening was supposed to be Link to the Past ported to Game Boy, but they made adjustments. But even if you play the remake, it's very, very similar to A Link to the Past. So if you think Link's Awakening has aged well, then trust me when I say Link to the Past has aged well.
Yeah, I love Link's Awakening. I've played Link to the Past. I have the actual cartridge too.
Nice.
For Super Nintendo. There was just something about, I think, playing Link's Awakening as a kid on my Game Boy.
Yeah.
That just triggered me as opposed to like playing.
Well, it's amazing how much they're able to fit on a Game Boy cartridge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what makes it fascinating. But what about, are you a God of War guy, though?
I'm sorry?
Are you a God of War guy?
I definitely prefer the original God of Wars to the 2018 version. I feel like the 2018 version is more of a... it was too similar to Hellblade for me. It kind of felt like, if any of you guys played Hellblade, it was very similar to Hellblade for me. And I feel like the original series kind of stand on its own, and then the 2018 version was kind of like too similar to something that came around the same time. And I just like the gameplay a little bit more of the original as well.
Oh, okay. Wow,
Yeah.
so we got two gentlemen here just that.
You can actually play it. Like, no offense, God of War is a graphical marvel in 2018, but yeah, I want to play a video game. You know what I mean?
I feel the same way. This is going to be a hot take too about Horizon. The Horizon games are also like an incredibly boring game, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch and to like play through and experience, but it's just extremely boring.
I'm 85% with you there, but I do like the story of Horizon more a little bit. Yeah.
Then God of War 2018.
Yeah,
I think I could agree with you there too.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna name two more of Joe's list here. Some good picks here. For number 8, Joe's got Halo, the first one, and for number 7, he's got Super Mario World, which is may or may not be on my list later. So, yes, whoever wants to chop it up. Anyone?
Okay. Halo, I can definitely see how that one would hold up really well. The one that I'm really excited about, though, is Super Mario World. That is actually the number 1 on my list. I think it's a prime example of how solid gameplay holds up no matter what the time period is. And then also the graphics and everything were just so colorful. It was kind of a really vibrant step into the Mario world, and you had so many different types of levels and stages to play through and more power-ups that you could use. It was just a really lovely game, and it holds up really well.
Excellent. Josh.
Oh no. Unfortunately, I was a Sega kid, so I might have had Sonic 2 instead of Super Mario World. I know. I wish I could go back and just make Mom, please give me a just that one thing would have changed my whole life. So what was the second one too? You said Super Mario World. Halo has definitely aged well, and I think that it brought up the first-person shooter genre even further. And again, compared to its predecessors, that's one of my things. I love Halo 2, Halo 3. I know the newer ones kind of fell off and got a little crazy. But yeah, Halo's still
I always felt like it started with Doom, then GoldenEye, and then Halo. That's what I feel like. That's like the evolutionary step of first-person shooter. Shaq, what do you got, man?
Halo was legitimately like a phenomenon for a little while. It like took over gaming, and then I feel like a lot of like competitors tried to create their own version of it. Like you look at like Sony with like Resistance and all this stuff, and they called it like the Halo Killer and all this stuff, and it's like it was a huge deal. Halo 2 especially, I think, was the best Halo for me. Halo 2 or Halo 3, but I love the original Halo as well. But that's no disrespect to Doom 2, because Doom was the OG.
Yeah.
Like Doom was the original, and Halo was definitely a very it was like a spiritual successor almost. But I definitely love the Halo games, and Super Mario World is legendary. I don't think there's many, if any, bad things you could say about Super Mario World.
Yes, I got Mario World happens to be on my list too. I'll talk about it a little bit later. Some stuff that no one else is pointing out about that game. Halo. I'll just say for a game that launched the Xbox, like not only that the game's aged well. I'm not the biggest Halo person. I'll be honest with you. I like Halo, but I'm not like into it. But like for a launch title, not only that the game's aged well, but it put Microsoft on the Xbox on the map. You know, when Microsoft made the daring move to game consoles, which, if you think about it, was kind of unheard of at the time. It's the fact that it launched with Halo is just, like, again, revolutionary. And, like, I feel like... Now, listen, I'm a Gears of War guy. Like, Gears of War is my favorite Microsoft game. But I will submit and say, like, Halo is, like, the Mario to Microsoft. And I don't think that will ever change when it comes to Microsoft exclusives. That being said, Pretty Guardian, name 2 more games.
All right, so my next 2 are Chrono Trigger, which is a classic turn-based 16-bit style RPG.
Bring it back.
It's fantastic. That game was kind of like lightning in a bottle, and it inspired so many other game makers within the genre. Like, even to this day, games like Chris Tales, Edge of Eternity, Chained Echoes is a really recent one. It's just a wonderful RPG. Highly recommend it. Great story, great turn-based combat. And then my other one is Pokemon Emerald. And so when I was thinking about Pokemon, I feel like a lot of the gameplay is really good as far as like the monster catching and everything. It's very addictive. But the first one, I feel like there was a lot of like jankiness to it. While it was great for its time, I don't think it holds up really well. I think this third generation of Pokemon games is where it really kind of hit a point where you had more gameplay elements, mechanics in there, like double battles and different stuff like that. And then graphically and everything, it just kind of hit that sweet spot. So for me, Pokemon Emerald was a big contender.
All right, gentlemen, thoughts on Chrono Trigger and Pokemon Emerald?
Chrono Trigger is one of my favorite JRPGs all time. I also loved Chrono Cross. I know that's like also a hot topic where some people either love that game or hate that game.
Yep.
But I also really enjoyed Chrono Cross.
Nice.
And Pokemon, I love all the Pokemon games as well. I do have like of course, the nostalgia effect for the original. So like I always hold the original really close. But I think the first 3 generations are all like, I think that's like the peak of the series. I think after that is when it starts to get a little like muddled and the Pokemon get a little crazy and you're kind of like garbage Pokemon. I don't know about that.
My favorite is Pokemon XY, but it's a little too recent for us to be looking back on yet.
Yeah, that was really good too. Pokemon X and Y are really good.
All right.
I don't know which one I've played, but you know what? Believe it or not, I did play either Chrono Cross or Chrono Trigger. One of them I've been playing on my Steam Deck, and it's like cool RPG. Anything like that, and I'm sure, Pretty Guardian, you have a bunch of other JRPGs on your list. Like, I feel like it's gonna age well because it's not about the graphics. It's not about crazy gameplay. It's turn-based, so you're still gonna have fun and get. I'm enjoying the game. I think it's Chrono Trigger. I think that was the thing.
I mean, my honest opinion, I feel like Chrono Trigger is like the gateway drug to JRPGs, in my opinion.
Okay. And then Pokemon, I have Pokemon games on my list, so I'll talk about them later, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah,
that being
fair
said,
enough.
Go ahead, name 2 games, Josh.
Okay. I'm going to go with StarCraft and the original Super Mario Brothers. That I didn't have it in
okay.
And all right, Super Mario Brothers, it's still played. Even Super Mario Maker lets you make Super Mario Brothers.
And there was Mario 35. Bring that back. That was great.
I don't know what that is.
So it's like Tetris 99, but Super Mario. You play Super Mario against 35 other people. Yeah, they only had it for like a few months during the Mario 35th anniversary.
Okay.
They need to bring that back. I don't know what they were thinking. It's not like nobody played it either. Like everybody was playing Mario 35.
Yeah, however many channels do speedruns of this game still to this day.
Yep.
Super Mario. And StarCraft, I mean, whether or not you like 2 better than 1, I feel like that was my RTS.
That was all we played in high school. Like, we would
Zerg,
meet on this channel right after high school.
Terrans, you know what I mean? Like, all 3, like, balanced, super balanced RTS game. That's really fun.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. I love StarCraft. That's I think my favorite RTS. And the original Super Mario Bros. Speaking of speedruns, I do speedrun that game a little bit.
Okay.
So you can check some of my previous streams. I think the best time I ever had beating the original Super Mario Bros. With all the warps was, I think, 8 minutes.
Nice.
So yeah, it was a phenomenal game. I love the original Super Mario Bros. 1 through 3 are all a masterclass in platformers.
All right. Pretty Garden, you got any additional thoughts on? Well, I know you're the PC gamer guy, so StarCraft.
Oh, I love StarCraft.
Yes.
That game is a classic for me. I think it had an amazing story too, which for an RTS game in that period, I really wasn't expecting, because the story for Warcraft kind of sucked at that time, and even some of the others, I thought StarCraft was next level.
Team Protoss over here.
I was Zerg. You know, I'm Queen of Blades.
I always switched it
Stand
up.
by Kerrigan.
Yeah. I like the Zergs though.
Okay. Yeah, the Zergs like to do the rush.
Yeah.
The rush. And I'm sorry. What was the StarCraft? And what was the other game?
Super Mario Brothers.
Okay. Yeah. Any thoughts on the OG Pretty Guardian?
I already gave my thoughts on it.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I have a.
We just saw a movie where they literally just showed you people playing the game, basically.
Oh yeah.
for a small period, you know.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Okay. So Shaq, name two games.
Some lesser games that I feel like probably aren't going to get mentioned that I'd like to show some respect to.
Okay.
And I think this is the best iteration of it. One is Super Mario Kart Double Dash. I think is the best Super Mario Kart, and I think that's aged perfectly. I think the older, especially on Super Nintendo, if you look back and see the Super Nintendo version of Mario Kart, it's kind of like hasn't aged super well. I think if you played it growing up, you'll enjoy it and you'll still have that nostalgia for it. And the same thing with 64. But Double Dash was, I think, the best iteration of Mario Kart. I think it's even better than the newer ones that they've released. And then the other game that I wanted to mention was the original Splinter Cell from the first Xbox. I think aged masterfully as well. It was a different type of stealth game for its time. You had the Metal Gear Solid games, and this was kind of like a more like covert ops type of stealth game, opposed to like the campy Metal Gear Solid, like almost like Western feeling stealth games. Splinter Cell's phenomenal. A supremely underrated game.
Good picks. My only thing about Double Dash though is either you love it or you hate it. But what's interesting to know is we haven't gotten a Mario Kart game like that since. They never brought that Double Dash, the team up mechanic. They never brought that back, which is why that's probably a game that stands. That's a solid pick. I'm personally not the biggest fan of it. I'm a Mario Kart 64 guy, but I will acknowledge Mario Kart 64 has aged.
What do you guys think was the best Mario Kart game of them all?
I mean, 8 is very, without doubt,
For me, just because...
Double Dash.
For me, it's 64.
Okay.
For me, it's 64 simply because that was the game that my sister and I, bonded over. Well, I should say, but we fought over, I would say, more than anything. But I think what makes Mario Kart 64 stand out among the rest of them is the battle mode. I'm a battle mode guy.
I mean, it's unfair, but 8 has all the DLC.
That's just it. 8, that's exactly it. 8's got all the DLC.
All the
but there was battle mode though in Double Dash too, wasn't there?
What's that?
There was battle mode in Double Dash too, wasn't there?
I'm trying to remember.
I'm 90% sure there was.
I'm sure
the only thing The only thing I want to say about Double Dash is I literally just walked into my LGS last week and watched somebody pay $80 for it, or $85 or something like that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, can I have Double Dash? Oh, that'll be $85. Thank you. Like
I said, it doesn't surprise me because
Yeah.
that's like the last. They never brought that mechanic back. So if you want to play that type of Mario Kart game, you gotta shell out the money.
You gotta fork up the cash.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that shows that's like still like people want to go back and spend the money for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Splinter Cell. I don't know shit about Splinter Cell. I don't think I played it ever. I mean, it went over my head. You guys play Pretty Guardian, Jay?
No,
but that may or may not be on somebody's list here.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
So Shaq, you're not alone on that. All right. So I got 2 more games for you. Controversial pick, though. I think y'all gonna cringe when I name them, but I can't help it. Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, and the first Donkey Kong Country are my next 2.
I agree with both of those. I love Donkey Kong Country.
I thought someone was gonna come at me because of the wah wah.
That's the worst part of that game.
Someone to be like, Jay, how could you pick that?
Donkey Kong Country is, I think, my favorite game on the Super Nintendo. It's up there.
I think the second one is better, but the first one looks better. The first one graphically looks better than the second one because the second one has so much content. They sacrificed graphically. It was a little bit of a sacrifice, but man, that first one's still beautiful. It doesn't even really look that pixelated. Colorful. And the thing that no one talks about, timing. When you time, like when you jump in on the crownlings, or if you're avoiding there's like a mathematical formula when you time the jumps, or if you're moving out of the way of the oncoming onslaught of enemies. There's like a mathematical pattern to these. Like if you see 1 come, you know 2 is gonna be coming next, and then 3. Then like there's a pattern to it. I just think like some games when they put out like a graphically superior game, that doesn't always mean that it like mechanically plays well. Donkey Kong Country did both. And again, I'll still say the second one's better because there's more to it. But man, when you look back at the first one,
if you say that the second one's better, then why'd you put the first one on your list?
Because the graphics in the second one has not aged as well as the graphics in the first one.
You think so?
I honestly got go playing back to back. Tell me the second one looks. I don't think the second one looks better in my opinion. I think the first one looks better, and it's just more. It's more colorful. Whereas the second one,
the first one's more colorful. Okay, I could see that maybe. When I think about the second one, I suppose because like it's more varied is kind of why I thought it was more visually interesting. But okay.
And as far as Yoshi's Island, those hand-drawn graphics look amazing. And if I'm going to be honest with you, and I love the Yoshi games, but Yoshi Story, Yoshi's Crafted World, Yoshi's Woolly World, I'm sorry, I still think Yoshi's Island's still the best one. I think Yoshi Island's still the best one. And I just, like I said, the beautiful hand-drawn graphics is amazing to this day. If anyone wants to...
I definitely agree.
Jay, I'm just going to trust your opinion. You are the Nintendo authority, and I am catching up. I like all these games, though. You know, I played the Wario Land they're like very minimal Nintendo.
I thought for sure someone was going to get mad about Yoshi's Island.
Not me. I don't know shit about anything. I never played a Yoshi game yet, so maybe I'll try that.
I like it. It looks interesting.
Yoshi's
Island.
I love
the Yoshi's games.
And what was the other one you said? Donkey Kong.
The first one. Again, the second one's the best one. I just think the first one's aged the best.
These are platform games, or like...
Yeah, it's a 2D platformer like Super Mario World. It's basically Super Mario World, but with Donkey Kong, basically, because it's got a lot of the same.
Probably why I'm not a Nintendo, because I'm getting into these platformers. My favorite platformer of all time, Shovel Knight. I know we're not even talking about that, but you know,
that game looks great, but it's still pretty new. Like
right. No, I'm just saying in general. Like I'm not, so I missed all these ones that you're saying, Jay. It's all right though, man.
It's all good. All right. That being said, Pretty Guardian, name us 2 more games.
Yeah, let's talk about 2 more games. So next on my list, I have Diablo 2 and then Donkey Kong Country 2.
Oh, wow. Okay. I love it. I absolutely love it. I already gave my, like I said, I will agree that the second one is the best one, hands down. I'm just going based on the graphical look of it. And I'm sorry, what was the other one again? The
Diablo 2.
Yeah, yep. We kind of ditched on that anymore, but you have more thoughts on Pretty Guardian. But you have more thoughts on Diablo 2, right?
No more thoughts. I gave my thoughts on it before.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, we got Donkey Kong Country 2 and we got Diablo 2.
I mean, we're starting to see the clashes where we're getting the same games.
Yeah, exactly.
You know. You go ahead, Shaq. Do you have more?
I have all the Donkey Kong Country games. I don't think there's a bad Donkey Kong Country game. I think 1, 2, and 3 are all good. Even the ports to the Game Boy. I love even the new Donkey Kong game that's on the Switch or.
It was actually on the Wii U, but they ported it to the Switch.
Tropical Freeze.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
that game is
hard.
fantastic too.
It's fantastic, but man, that shit's hard.
Yeah, all of the Donkey Kong games are pretty difficult, I think. But they're all great, man. Some of the best platformers that you can play, and the music. That's the one thing about the Donkey Kong Country series. The music is always
so good.
Fantastic. I think the first Donkey Kong Country though has one of the best soundtracks in all of video games.
Yes.
Like aquatic ambience, like the water level. Like that is one of the best soundtracks in gaming.
Absolutely. All right.
Were any of those soundtracks in the movie?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, it was.
Okay.
And spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen Mario, we were disappointed. But they did play some Donkey Kong Country music in the movie. They did.
Cool.
Really?
Yes, they did. All right, Josh, 2 more games, buddy.
Okay, one that Pretty Guardian doesn't really like too much or disagreed with, Pokemon Red and Blue, the first one. I like the first one more than the other ones. And another RPG, though. Here's one, Pretty Guardian, that you will like. Final Fantasy VII. I started playing that, and I really enjoy it, and it's timeless. And I guess, I don't know, you might be able to tell us more so, compared to the predecessors, 8, 9, 10, I think Final Fantasy VII holds up the most. Remasters, relevancy remasters and remakes, that's one of my criteria. If a game is good enough to remaster it, clearly it's aged well. They want, like, people still playing the game. So, Pokemon Red and Blue I just love. I think they're classic. But like you guys had said, I just finished Violet, not Violet, the other one, Sword I finished. And I like the newer ones too, but I don't know, something about those old school classic Pokemon games, the music, all that, that's it. I love it. What do you guys think?
I think with all this talk about Pokemon, we need to say who the best starter is.
Ooh.
Who's the real starter?
Real starter? Like, you mean like fire, water?
You know what? I'll say it.
Pokemon.
Fuck
Who's the best starter Pokemon?
What's that, Maggie?
I said fuck Bulbasaur.
Oh, okay. I haven't played a Pokemon game, so I got.
Oh.
It's been requested. There's people on the group page saying
Squirtle, yeah.
Oh, wow. I always pick Charmander.
That's fair.
I mean, Charizard's pretty fucking cool.
I don't think you can go wrong, because it's like rock, paper, scissors. Like, Charmander beats Leaf Man, Leaf Man beats Waterman. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Final Fantasy VII, like...
Final Fantasy VII is one of the greatest JRPGs I think ever made. 7, 8, 9, 10, like you said, are all stand up.
Oh no, I was saying the opposite. I said 7 was better than those, like way better. But
I think they're all great. I think 7 is the most iconic because that's kind of what I think changed the series. That's where it really went from being those old medieval type, borderline like Dungeons and Dragons type games into what they are today, and I think that was because of 7. 7 is I think my personal favorite, but any Final Fantasy between 7, 8, 9. Well, I'm not going to say 8 because 8 wasn't that good, but 7, 9, 10, I think all have stood the test of time.
Okay. That's usually the first one I think of, but I really don't.
Yeah,
I haven't really dabbled into Final Fantasy games that much, at least not since the one on Super. I think was it 3 on Super Nintendo. By the way, I need to pick up that the Pixel collection. They just announced the Final Fantasy Pixel collection on the Switch. I need to get that.
Final Fantasy IV, which was in America was Final Fantasy II.
Yeah.
Is also like a chef's kiss, like also one of the best Final Fantasy games.
So I'll go one step further since I'm doing the comparisons with the predecessors. I tried to play Final Fantasy 12. I played it for like an hour or two, and I was like, dude, I want to go back to turn-based. Right, so, I don't know if 13, 14, and whatever the fuck.
Yeah, they're terrible. I hate them.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. So I'd rather play 7 than any of those newer ones.
Yeah.
So it's another thing.
I think Final Fantasy actively got worse after Final Fantasy X.
Once Square merged with Enix, it went all downhill. Before the merger, because Squaresoft, I think the last game that they made and had a hand in was 10, and then everything after 10 was Square Enix as both companies merged, and that's when it all went downhill for me. I stopped enjoying Final Fantasy after that.
Okay. All right, so Shaq, name 2 more games.
One game that I want to mention that I think is still close to a masterpiece as you can get today is Shadow of Colossus for the PS2. One of the best games I've ever played. Definitely has like that kind of like a Dark Souls type feel to it because of those great epic boss battles. And then another fun game from the Dreamcast era is Jet Set Radio. I think that's still aged really well.
And didn't they just bring that back? Like, didn't they just report that?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I thought they just.
To the Switch? I think they might have reported it to the Switch.
Yeah. Someone let me know. But yeah, okay. Really, really good picks. Pretty Guard, you got thoughts on those particular games?
No.
Josh.
Shadows of the Colossus is on my list. I've been playing it, man. It was towards the end of the PS2 life cycle, right? So graphically, I did see a comparison recently because I wanted to educate myself a little bit. I didn't play the remastered one. I saw comparisons of the remastered versus the old one, and yeah, they did make it look better graphically. Obviously, that's why they made it. But the way that they did the lighting and the shading for everything, they made it work on the PS2 to the point where it's not like jarring like other games. Like we'll talk about next week. You know what I mean? Like it holds up. You know what I mean? So, and then Jet Set Radio. No, I don't know.
Okay. All right, so I kind of went out of order here. So on behalf of Joe, next 2 games on Joe's list here. Both fighting games, both great ones in my opinion. He's got Mortal Kombat 3 / Ultimate 3 Trilogy and Street Fighter 2 Turbo. So I'll give my thoughts real quick. I do agree. Among like the old school Mortal Kombat games, I think looks wise, I think Mortal Kombat 3's aged the best among the OG trilogy. And Street Fighter 2, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's still people playing that. There's still people playing that in tournaments. So. I think those are both good picks from Joe. If anyone else has thoughts on both of those games?
Mortal Kombat 3 is a great game, great choice. Anyone that you pick, 1, 2, or 3. Obviously, 2 is better than 3.
I think that's the thing. Jay. I think 2 is better than 3 too. but as far as like graphically, I think the third one, MK3, is aged better because it still stands out.
My favorite is Mortal Kombat Trilogy. That's PlayStation, though.
But that's like Trilogy is an updated version of 3. There's 3, Ultimate 3, and Trilogy. They're all it's
Fair
the
enough.
same game, just like
and
think like Marvel, how they do the Ultimate,
Yeah, and Street Fighter 2 obviously is on my list, so maybe I'll do like a cancellation thing. And I say all of them because there's 50 of them. Tournament Edition and Turbo, all of them. All great games.
I agree. Turbo's probably the best version of 2.
No, I like Tournament Edition the best. I don't know, but they're all. It's Street Fighter 2. It's like classic, and it inspired so many other games. And yeah, I love them. Love that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're 2 pioneers of the fighting game genre. And if you want like a feel for, old school fighters, those are the games that you have to go to. I think 3 might be my. It's kind of hard toss up between 2 and 3, but 3 definitely I think does age the best.
Yes, I think that's fair to say. Pretty good. You got thoughts on those 2 fighting games before we move on?
No.
Okay. So next 2 on my personal list here. Okay. 1 we already talked about, so we don't really have to delve into it. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I absolutely love everything about that game. 3-on-3, take you for a ride. That fucking roster. We've talked about that game so many times. We don't have to get into that. But on my other game, and it's one that I preached to the heavens. You can see it on the thumbnail. It's my single favorite video game of all time, Super Metroid. It is aged beautifully. You cannot take that away. You cannot take that away from Super Metroid. It's perfect as a game can be, in every way imaginable. So if anyone's got thoughts on Super Metroid, I'd love to hear it.
I think that's the best game on your list, Jay. It's
thank you.
Absolutely fantastic, and you're right. Everything about it, it's a perfect game. The graphics, they look great for what they are. I thought it was one of the most atmospheric games I've played in that genre. It's so much fun.
Josh.
Oh, no. You're going to ask me about Super Metroid? Oh, man. It'll be in the long list of Nintendo games I need to catch up on.
Don't feel bad because our co-host Derek hasn't played it yet either. Trust me, it's like...
Was that the one that was remastered that you guys have been playing?
No, that's Metroid Prime. We're playing Metroid Prime right now. On shameless plug, check out our Metroid Prime remastered playthrough on Twitch. Metroid Prime is the GameCube one. Super Metroid's the Super Nintendo one. That's goated. And shout out to you, Shaq. You have this game in box still. You're a millionaire.
Yep. Yes, I still have it in box. Super Metroid is definitely my favorite Metroid game, I would say. I really loved Metroid Fusion as well.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a bad Metroid game either, honestly.
There is Metroid Other M. That's the only one. Okay, and Metroid Prime 3 because I hate the motion controls, but definitely Other M's what I point to.
I could see that. I think they're still enjoyable, but they're not like good Metroid games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also. I even liked Metroid Dread too. Metroid Dread was really good.
I loved Metroid Dread. That was like one of our very first Twitch playthroughs. My only thing is I still think Super Metroid's better.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But Metroid Dread is like my follow-up. Like that game came out of nowhere, and like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's I think on the same level. I think a little bit of my bias is definitely towards the nostalgia for Super Metroid, but I think if I played both of them in a vacuum without any knowledge, I would be like, Dread is better. But
I think Dread's the closest they're gonna get. It's to making another perfect Metroid game.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
All right, Pretty Guardian, name 2 games.
Yeah, so my next 2 are both PS2 era RPGs that I'll be surprised if this panel has heard of. I've got Radiata Stories and Rogue Galaxy. I just think they're both beautiful games. I hope every day that they get remastered. With Radiata Stories, there were a lot of things that I thought were really impressive with it. It had a branching narrative. There was a very critical decision that you got to make as far as picking a faction at the halfway point. And so depending on which one you did, you would get a completely different game experience. And it had over 100 playable characters that you could add to your party and recruit, which was really awesome. And then Rogue Galaxy, I think, was one of the best science fiction RPGs of its time. You actually got to go to so many different planets and have this really epic experience. And I look for that in games, and I haven't had it since.
All right. I personally don't know anything about those 2 games, but have the gentleman on the rest of the panel. What about you guys?
No.
I love JRPGs too. I've never heard of either of those.
If you love JRPGs, you should look these up. You're missing out.
That sounds like a super niche, but that's Oh yeah,
It
sure
is niche. That's...
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Gotcha.
Well, definitely appreciate the recommendations. That being said, Josh, name 2 more games.
I only have one more game we didn't talk about because we talked about MVC 2.
Okay.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It's literally still running in the background. We talked about Street Fighter 2. The only game I didn't talk about, it's a game that's near and dear to my heart. A game that, I played recently too, the other day. Soul Calibur, the original. One of the first games.
The Dreamcast one.
For the Dreamcast, it still holds up graphically. I mean, I look at it and say, like, what a marvel. The reason why I got the game, that IGN 10.0, it was one of the only ones, highest rated. I remember going to, completing everything, getting all the characters. Nightmare. I'm sorry, my health bar is really low right now. But yeah. And then I'm like, Grandma, please don't turn off my Dreamcast. We need to go to Ames and get a VMU right now. I saved everything, and then Soul Calibur, love it.
Weapon combat. Enough said. And I'm surprised the old Soul Calibur games haven't been re-released. I'm talking 1, 2, and I guess I'll throw in 3. Like, I'm surprised they haven't re-released those on like current gens. They need to, especially the first one, because if I'm not mistaken, besides the arcade, the only ported Soul Calibur game is the Dreamcast one, right? I don't think it was ever on PC. I think it's just Dreamcast was the only one that had it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, they need to bring that back. Just if anyone didn't bring back, it's that one.
At least 2 or 3, either one is fun,
Well, 2 might be
Didn't
tricky.
they have it on Xbox?
2 might be tricky because of the guest characters.
Yeah,
I think that was on Xbox, and it had like Darth Vader in it or something.
No. It was Spawn.
Spawn, yes.
Spawn, and then Link was on the GameCube version, and then the PlayStation was that dude from Tekken with the old, the guy with the spiked side.
Hihachi, yeah.
Yes.
Hihachi.
Yeah.
Soul Calibur 4 had the Star Wars characters.
Yoda and Darth Vader. Which, it's kind of weird in my opinion because I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
And lightsabers. It was the worst one by far, without a doubt.
All right. Shaq, you got thoughts on Soul Calibur?
Yeah, I love Soul Calibur. I used to go to the arcade that was in my neighborhood and play on the actual arcade machine. I would always use Nightmare, and everyone hated me.
Oh, you're a Nightmare guy, huh?
Yeah, and everyone hated me. But I love Soul Calibur. That was I think one of my favorite fighting games as a kid. Like, it was either Mortal Kombat or Soul Calibur was my.
Yeah, I was a Nightmare guy too, but when it comes to looks, come on, Ivy. She's got that Dami Mommy energy. You love her.
No, but as the Soul Calibur aficionado, can I say both Ivy and Nightmare, both very good characters, very balanced. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unlike Keelik. I'm a Keelik guy, completely broken, and Setsuka was in the third one, so yeah.
Okay. Pretty Guardian, Soul Calibur.
Yeah, Ivy Valentine.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Shaq, name 2 games, buddy.
Okay. Let's see. I think another game, and this is kind of like a set of games that age well, that I'd like to show some love to, is the WarioWare games. I think the WarioWare games age perfectly because they're just a huge game of like micro games. So there's no way to really, I guess, lose the gameplay factor or the graphics. I think the WarioWare games are super fun. I love all of them, dating back to like the Game Boy Advanced, and it was such a good series. Even the new WarioWare that came out on the Switch, I think, is really great too.
It's on my list of games to pick up. I haven't picked it up yet, but it's on my list.
Oh, they're so fun. They're so much fun. You just spend like 4 hours playing all the micro games, and then they have all these weird, funky, crazy-looking characters, and then you go on to the next character, and they have their own weird set of micro games. It's so much fun. And another game that I think aged really well, it could be hit or miss for some people, but I think Prince of Persia: Sands of Time is a really, really good game still to this day. I love the Prince of Persia series. Even the third one that like everyone hated, that everyone thinks is terrible, I really liked. I did enjoy the Assassin's Creed series that it eventually turned into, until the recent games when it got like really open world. I don't enjoy those anymore. But the Prince of Persia games I loved. I loved those games.
Shout out to Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, the movie's terrible. The movie is absolutely terrible.
I haven't seen it. I knew, like, yeah, it's not for me. Pretty Guard, you got anything on those?
Prince of Persia did a lot of cool things with its gameplay for its time, but like the first one does not hold up well at all. Like that game feels horrible to play now compared to like modern stuff.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah, it's definitely a timepiece and it's in a vacuum, and help to, like I said, I think definitely inspire the Assassin's Creed series.
Yeah,
but
I for sure hope that we see more Prince of Persia games in the future.
I hope so.
Yeah,
too.
I think that'd be nice.
Yeah. Josh, got any thoughts on them or?
The only thing I have thoughts about is how before I met Shaq, I wanted to consider myself a Renaissance gamer. Nah, dude. Shaq is the Renaissance gamer, man. This dude hasn't missed a beat with this entire episode. It's unbelievable. Like, but no, I didn't play
He
any
went
of
out of
that.
his way because he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna make a list of all these games and go with the ones that no one mentions.
Yeah,
so he
dude.
went above and beyond.
Yeah, never had Prince of Persia. Wario, I've been playing the Wario Land. I'm liking the character Wario.
You should try the WarioWare games.
Yeah,
Wario,
Wario.
maybe I will. I'm gonna try those
It's
too.
like Mario Party, but different. Like, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like Mario Party.
WarioWare is like a Mario Party, but like different.
No,
Yeah,
you were saying mini games.
Yeah, it's like
It's all mini
the
games.
games are like 10 seconds long, and it's like you usually have to achieve something within 10 seconds, and then it goes to like another like 10-second long thing, and it's like super fast and like reactionary, and it's like comedic. It's like they'll show some guy, and you're like, oh, put a guy's nose on his face, and then you have like 3 seconds to put his nose on his face, and it's funny.
Cool.
All right, so I'm gonna go back to Joe's list. One we don't really have to talk about because we already did. So his next two games are Super Metroid, which we already talked about. But he's got another. Here's a good one. He's got Mega Man X.
Oh, love it.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to dish out on Mega Man X, then I'll name my two.
That's another game that I speedrun as Mega Man X. I love the Mega Man X series.
Oh yeah, I will agree. That one's probably aged the best among all of them, in my opinion.
I think all the way up to the Mega Man X games on PlayStation are all really good. I don't think there's a bad Mega Man X game really, but the first one I think definitely stands the test of time just because it's so nostalgic.
Yes.
And I think anyone that's like played a Mega Man game during the Super Nintendo era,
like the one.
that's the game that they always think of. Yeah, it's never X2 or X3. It's always Mega Man X.
Yeah, and the funny thing is X2 and X3 are more rare and more expensive, but the first one's like the one that everybody played.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Alright. Anything else on Mega Man X, guys? Alright. So my next two here. Alright. One should come to no surprise, and the other one might be a little debatable. So I have Resident Evil 1 Remake from 2002. And my other, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. I'll just start by saying I was one of those crabby people that bitched when Wind Waker was announced. Because the game I wanted at the time was Twilight Princess, which we eventually got. But when I saw Wind Waker for the first time on GameCube, or when they announced it, I was mad and I threw a hissy fit like, wow, why did they go to this cartoon route? Why did they do this? Like, what the fuck were they thinking? Oh, I couldn't have been more wrong. My God, does Wind Waker still hold up? It is amazing. It was the right choice. I was wrong. I love Wind Waker. Not my favorite Zelda game, but when you look at, even mechanically, like, I think the sailing can get a little boring. And I hate the shards. If anyone played Wind Waker, they know what I'm talking about. I hate the Triforce shard part of the game. That's like the worst part of the game. If that game would be damn near perfect if you pluck that whole part out. But my God, when you simply just look at Wind Waker, it is breathtaking. Again, not my favorite Zelda game. It's in my top 5, maybe top 6. But my God, is it among all those Zelda games? I think it has aged the best. Then again, when maybe 10 years down the road, when we look back at Breath of the Wild, maybe that will be aged better. But right now, as far as the qualification for this list tonight, it was definitely Wind Waker that's aged the best. And Resident Evil 1 Remake, among playing that again on Twitch, man, does RE1 Remake still hold up. I still might like 2 and 3 better, but graphically, mechanically, man, that first one, the first remake, is perfect. I don't want another RE1 remake. They don't need to remake it again. I think this remake still holds up as is. So if anyone got thoughts on Wind Waker and RE1, go.
Wind Waker, I never got a chance to beat, but I did play a little bit of it. I think the toon shading definitely lends to it, so I think that helps graphically for it to kind of like have an enduring presence.
Yeah.
And helps with its aging. And then the Resident Evil remake, I had that on my list as well, but I knew somebody was going to mention it, so I didn't want to mention it.
It just shows so how great the game still is, and it's
I think it's better than the original.
It's 22 years old now.
I would hope so. It's the remake. I'd hope it would be better than the original. Explain to me, to a novice, what is the difference between the remake and the first one? What did they change?
Everything.
They
built it from they rebuilt it from the ground up. It's still the same story, but they added some stuff. It has much better voice acting. Let's get that out of the way. The voice acting is much better. The cutscenes are much better.
That's debatable.
I still think the voice act. I like the voice acting better.
I love the voice acting, but it's so terrible, but it's so good.
And then there's more mechanics. Like you gotta like burn the zombies because they'll come back. They'll come back.
The Crimson Heads.
Yes, thank you, Crimson Heads. Yeah, the Crimson Heads, which is the zombie. When you kill them, they will come back and more powerful. So you gotta burn them. You literally gotta put like oil on them and burn them if you don't want them to come back. The boss battles are better. Everything about it's better. I'm sorry. It's like,
I think it's a better game than the original Resident Evil.
Much better. And one more thing about Wind Waker. I know this one's a debatable thing, controversial thing too. I think Wind Waker's got the best Ganon battle. The best Ganon fight is Wind Waker. It's fucking awesome. For those who don't know, you get into a sword fight with Ganon. It's literally a sword fight with Ganon and Princess Zelda shooting light arrows. She's like from a distance shooting light arrows at Ganon, and you're fighting with a fucking sword. And then at the fucking end, keep in mind, this is an E-rated game. At the end, you stab the motherfucker in the head. Like, oh my god. Like, the Wind Waker is the best, hands down the best Ganon battle to this day. Shout out to Deontay Wilder. Yeah, I knew you knew. So yeah. So that's all. I guess we can move on. Pretty Guardian named 2 more games.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give a shout out to Dungeons and Dragons. Some of those early editions, tabletop RPGs. I think that 2nd edition and 3rd edition actually hold up incredibly well, especially if you like a more rules-oriented like game set. I think it's a lot of fun.
All right.
And then my last one would be Super Mario World.
Okay. Again, excellent picks. I've never been a Dungeons and Dragons person, but oh my god, did I love that movie. It was a great movie. Very much enjoyed it. Shout out to Derek's review. But no, I've never dabbled into Dungeons and Dragons, and we all know about Super Mario World. Like, come on, Josh, what do you got?
D&D. I haven't played it. My health bar is almost empty, man. I'm surprised I made it to this episode. But D&D, man, I gotta play it sometime. But I gotta get on that. I love Magic. Yeah, the sister of that. So yeah, that's it. I don't know.
All right, Shaq.
Yeah, I've never played any of the original Dungeons and Dragons tabletop games, so I can't really say anything. But I shared my piece about Super Mario World, such a iconic game, arguably the best Mario game ever made.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Josh, name 2 more games.
No, that's it. I named everything.
Okay.
Or you guys named it. Yeah.
All right, Shaq, 2 more games?
I think that's it.
Okay, all right, I got...
Okay, I'll pull
We had 10, that's why I only picked 10.
Okay, yeah, I still got my last 2,
bring
and
it
I got
on,
Joe's
Jay.
last 2, so...
a game that I would like to mention that I don't think anyone's going to mention is Katamari Damacy. I think Katamari Damacy is a game that aged finally. The graphics are still good to this day. It's still a fun game in its core. I think they released a new version called Katamari Damacy Reroll. I think they came out on Switch. And if you never played it, it's just kind of like a game where you push around a ball and collect everything sticks to the ball, and you make a giant world out of it. It's super like creepy. It's like funny, creepy, like fun. It's a lot of different emotions mixed in one.
Okay.
Yeah, I played that before.
All
There's no goal, right? Just to get your ball large.
You gotta get your ball large and then make it big enough to be a world, and then you go to a next area and collect a bunch of things, push the ball around. It's fun. It's definitely fun and unique. I don't think there's many games like.
I don't think there's any game like that. Just that.
No.
That's it.
Yeah, it's just Katamari Damacy.
Yeah.
And my last game, there's a lot of games I would like to include on here. If you would have did up to Xbox 360, I would have definitely loved to include a game like Lost Odyssey. Lost Odyssey is a really good JRPG that I don't think a lot of people have played. But my final game was for the original Xbox instead of the Xbox 360, and it's Knights of the Old Republic. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
I'm surprised it took this long for someone to mention that. I'm not a Star Wars guy, never will be. But that's like the one game everybody... For me, the one I liked was Battlefront 2, but the one everyone keeps going on about was the Old Republic game. So.
Oh, it's so good. One of the best like Western RPG games, and being a Star Wars property, it was amazing. Amazing gameplay, amazing story, amazing characters.
I mean, that was like the golden age of Star Wars games, because like I said, we had the Battlefront, we had the Old Republic. Hell, I even liked the Jedi Power Battles was pretty fucking good on Dreamcast, and like
you had Jedi Knight Academy.
Even the Episode
Republic
3
Commando
game was pretty fucking good. Like and this is
I liked Force Unleashed. I know that came later, but love Force Unleashed too.
Yeah. All right, so I'll name these last 4 games. Two Joe's last 2 and my last 2. So Joe's got Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Good pick, even though upon a replay I do have some issues with it, but man, does it still look good. And the other one, his number 1 is Splinter Cell.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Real quick on Sonic, like I said, my problem with Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is there's a weird delay with the jumping, and I hate the special stages. Oh, the special stages have aged terribly, but man, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is fun. But I still think 3 and Knuckles is better. That's just my opinion. But when it comes to like those old school graphics, I can understand. I think the second one's way better than the first one. I don't know why people love the first Sonic game so much, but the second one's just that much better. That's just my opinion. And finally, my last 2 games. To no surprise, we've already talked about them. Super Mario World. Well, my number 1 is Super Mario World, and my number 2, Tetris. We already talked about Tetris. Man, that game still holds up. I don't care how many times they redo it, but man, you can still go back to the first Tetris. It's just, like I said, it's revolutionary. And Super Mario World, the only thing I'm just gonna dab on that no one's talked about, like I said, we all talk about how beautifully it's aged, but the step from Mario Brothers 3 to Super Mario World was astronomical. And the thing I love about Super Mario World is the control, and of course, Yoshi. Like, Super Mario World just plays so smooth, and it looks great. And then, that's all I pretty much got. So if anybody's got any other thoughts on Tetris or Splinter Cell or Sonic, go ahead, and we'll wrap this up.
We talked about both Tetris and Splinter Cell. Fuck Sonic. I hate Sonic. It's the blue Mario. And again, that goes back to me wishing I could go back in time and get a Super Nintendo, because I did play it. I had Sonic 2, and I was like, this fucking game. Like, I wonder what those Super Nintendo kids are doing. Playing the good games I missed. That's why I like this episode. Like, how cool what I'm talking about. No, it's all right.
Sonic is the blue-headed stepchild.
He fucking sucks. All right, that's it.
But yeah, I had a blast replaying the second one on Twitch. We did a Tuesday night one-off playthrough. And the thing that was so funny for those who missed that stream, we were one Chaos Emerald away from getting all the Chaos Emeralds before we got to Death Egg. It was pretty funny, and like I remember, like I was with Joe, I'm screaming on the couch like jump, and then we missed the final Chaos Emerald by like 10 rings. It was, and we were at the last goal.
Are you saying chaos?
Huh? Chaos?
How do you say it?
Chaos?
Okay.
Why, did I say chaos?
I don't know.
Okay,
I'm listening to you, Jay.
Alright, I'm sorry if I mispronounced it.
No, you're good.
So yes, those are all games of aged well, everybody. If you are just tuning in, we'd love to hear from everybody. Like, if you want to leave a comment and just let us know what games you think of aged well, we'd love to hear it.
Honorable mention.
Yeah,
Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Oh yeah, I love those old GTAs. Yeah, that's a game I'm all about, man.
Yeah,
love Vice City. I like San Andreas more, but
I think the original Animal Crossing aged really well too.
I'm not sure.
I disagree.
I have no clue.
I've never played.
It's like the same thing as the new one, New Horizon. Is that what it's called?
Shit about Animal Crossing, man. What was
I think that the graphics are categorically worse, and the gameplay leaves a little bit to be desired.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
I think New Leaf is one of the best Animal Crossing games.
Yeah.
Is that the newest one? What's the newest one?
The newest one is New Horizons.
Oh shit! Animal Cross Battle. Let's get it.
Rage in the Cage is back.
I'll chase you around and hate you with my net.
You farm stuff. Is that what it is? You farm stuff.
Yeah, it's like you run an island basically, and then there's like an overlord, a raccoon that kind of just like is like controlling everything, and is like the evil mastermind of your island that you have to kind of like constantly deal with.
Stay away, man.
It's the game that saved the pandemic.
Tom Crook.
Oh yeah, pandemic. Yeah. I feel a year of my life just passing, just thinking about playing a game like that, where it's like, oh, look at my crops and my city and my island. It's like, oh my god, you spent hours and hours playing the Leaf one and the other ones he said. I don't even remember.
All right. But yeah, guys, we're gonna be back next week. Everybody will be. I'm hoping Derek will be able to make this one. Joe still got to work next week, but next week we're gonna flip to the other side. We're gonna still the same criteria, games from the PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube, and before. And this one's gonna get fun, and this is gonna probably ruffle some feathers. Games that have aged bad. Buzz, your girlfriend. Wolf. Like, this is gonna be a fun fucking stream next week.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And if you haven't already, please check out our podcast live stream from last week with Chris from Joe Blow. That was a lot of fun. Please check out my newest face-off on Joe Blow Originals, which is Mario 93 versus Street Fighter 94. I had a lot of fun making that. Joe and I will be on Twitch tomorrow night at 11 p.m. playing Resident Evil 4. I'm going to start it off at 11. Joe will be coming in around midnight. We're going to go to about 2 in the morning. See how far we can get Resident Evil 4. Or we're trying to finish it before the end of the month. And then Sunday, we're going to do another Sunday stream because Joe's got to work on Tuesday. We're going to be back to Metroid Prime Remastered. Again, it's twitch.tv/NerdCageLive. And I don't know when I'll be back to Hades. I will at some point. I've just been really busy with projects right now. And yeah. So again, I'm going to go around the circle real quick. Let everybody plug what they got to plug. And Pretty Guard, if you don't mind, for those who weren't here earlier, can you just let them know what's what's going on and anything you want to plug?
Yeah, so the announcement from earlier is that this stream and the next stream will be my last as a cast member here on the NerdCage. I will still be part of the NerdCage community though, so you can catch me in our Facebook groups and on Discord. And if you just want to follow my gaming content over on youtube.com/prettyguardian. My most recent video is an updated review of Amazon Game Studios' New World.
Excellent. Again, Pretty Guardian, thank you so much for everything you've done for us. Thank you for taking time to be here for these next 2 streams. This was a lot of fun. I'm I am very sad that I'm losing you, but I will definitely look forward to collaborations and, of course, watch parties and, but again, thank you so much for everything. Thank you for the feminine touch. Thank you for, putting your foot on my neck on some stuff we disagree with is always fun. I'm really gonna miss having you on here as a
I'm so glad that you have such a good humor about that, because it definitely it comes from a place of like celebrating nerd culture and never has any hostility behind it. I can promise you that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Josh, whatever you want to promote, buddy.
I made it through the whole stream without dying.
Yeah, I
said
let's go to 10:30. We're pretty damn close.
Nicely
done. I'm just saying, like, you can hear it. You can hear it in my voice. Like, I'm done. But dude, that's what I mean. That's why it's so fun. It's fun. Like, you're pushing through. And guys, if you have anything in the comment section, if you disagree with us, please bitch in the comment section. We want to hear that too. Let us know what you agree with, what you don't agree with. And I'm on Paper. That's my channel. I have videos. I'm on NerdCage every week. So, the man of the hour, though. Let's talk about him, man.
Yes.
Mr. Shaquille.
Shaquille Oatmeal of the Round 1 podcast. Again, everybody, the links are in the description for his podcast and his Twitch and his YouTube. And, of course, this motherfucker's going to be back next week. So, oh, my God, we're going to be ruffling some feathers next week. But, Shaquille Oatmeal, the floor is yours, buddy.
I'll be brief again. Check me out on youtube.com/round1podcast for anime-related stuff, video game-related stuff, sports-related stuff, reactions, recommendations, everything. And then I stream 5 days a week on Twitch. You could check me out at twitch.tv/Shaquille_Oatmeal_RO. I stream variety games. Tuesdays and Thursdays are throwback days. Currently playing through Final Fantasy IX on Tuesdays. It's going to be Metal Gear Solid 1 on Thursdays. And then we're playing some more. We're playing through Sackboy Great Adventure, I think it's called, as our modern game right now, which is fantastic. One of the best open world platformers that I played, or 3D platformers, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I'd love to have you guys there.
Final Fantasy IX is my favorite, so I might just have to tune into that one.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Tuesdays. We're on our way to Burmecia currently.
Oh.
Yeah, we're still early.
Okay, nice.
Excellent. Well, again, Shaq, thanks so much for taking time off your busy schedule with all those Twitch streams and your podcast. Thanks for being here. Kind of last minute. Appreciate it, and that bust out an amazing list. But guys, please, I can't stress this enough, man. Check out the Round 1 podcast. If you like stuff on NerdCage, you guys are gonna love Round 1 podcast. I guarantee it. So that being said, everybody, we please ask you to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, spread that shit like syphilis, spread it like fucking germs. All right, we're trying to grow this bitch. Again, get 1,500 subscribers so you can win an Xbox Series X, shipped right straight to you. So, again, from yours truly, Syracuse, New York, New York City, New Jersey, Portland, Oregon, to all of our friends around the world at NerdCage Live. As always, enjoy life, stay safe, eat your vegetables, do your push-ups, go to the gym, all that good stuff. Fuck bots, fuck trolls, all that good shit, and we'll see you late tomorrow night on Twitch. Thank you so much, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
And stick around for these awesome promos and get trapped in the cage, motherfuckers. Woo!
Thank you, NerdCage Nation, for getting us to 700 subscribers. But Joe, there's still work to do if we're going to give away a free Xbox Series X.
That's right. Get us to 1,500 subs right here on YouTube, and we will give this Xbox Series X away to one lucky winner once we hit our goal.
Come on! Xbox Series X is where it's at. We can play games like Halo and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
And for you sports junkies, you can play the latest Madden and NBA 2K and play almost any game you want under the Fantasticals Xbox Game Pass.
We want you to be able to play all the best games with a brand new Xbox Series X that you can win right here on NerdCage Live.
Once we get to 1,500 subs, we will release a video on how you can enter, and we will give this away on a live stream.
No purchase necessary, US and Canada only. Please subscribe to NerdCage Live.
NerdCage Live and gaming are a perfect match.
Shoot the J, Joe. Okay. Shoot it!
All right!
Over on NerdCage Live on Twitch, Jay and Joe go live.
Call me Bazooka Joe.
It's all about you.
Kaboom!
Playing both old school and new school games every Tuesday night. Ooh, what a sight!
Jay, stop looking at her face and run.
But she's so beautiful.
So be sure to follow NerdCage Live on Twitch.
Run for your life, Joe. Run for your life, Joe.
Running!
Run faster. Oh no, Joe. The galaxy's doomed because of you.
To scratch your gaming itch.
Oh, nice kick, Joe.
Thank you.
Yo, that's diabolical. Wait. Yo!
That's twitch.tv/NerdCage Live.
Ooh, trying to get out of the nerd cage, are ya? Well, before you go, hit that subscribe button. And if you're really intrigued, ring that bell. Thank you for dropping by. Until next time, tell everyone you know about NerdCage Live!